All right, here we go. Let us see. Trying to get some more tables going. I think this is a fold. This would be a fold in 6 max. Just going to assume it's a fold in these anti games. I'm not entirely sure though, so I haven't studied this format for any minutes. So I'll have to wait and see to see how we're doing. A lot of it will be based on intuition. I just punted a stack though. Well, I think it's probably decent, but yeah, probably okay at least. Maybe not ideal, but yeah. I let flop here, which intuitively feels like it's fine multi-way, but to be honest, I have no clue. But diamonds should be fine. Then we turn a diamond, we bet pot. Seems reasonable. Potentially could go a bit larger, could check raise as well. And then on the river, I was contemplating going with pot or all in. I went with all in, which is 2x pot. Yeah, which is tough. Intuitively, he gets the call of his flushes and then needs to call sometimes with non-flushes here. That was what I thought would happen, but I'm not sure. So we'll save it and review it later. Like the all-in might have been a bit much, but okay. I always prefer to be the guy that's slightly too aggressive and that sometimes regrets going all-in rather than the guy that is very straightforward and easy to play against. This format plays quite a bit different with the antes from regular 6 max, which is my specialty, so I'm not sure how well I'm going to be doing here, but we'll see. Also, I've got one table now. I'm trying to get on more, but it's relatively tough to get on more tables. We'll try to see if we can get them some 5-10 tables as well. I think flop is probably fine. The only thing I'm not sure about is the sizing, but it's probably fine. Given we're going to have 6-5 offsuit and 4-3 suited and 5 deuce suited, 6 deuce suited. This should probably be reasonable. We actually went this small as well, so we're going to probably have 4-3 offsuit as well. Here. So I think flop is definitely fine. Well, definitely. I'm high confidence in the flop. Turn should be fine. When we get a diamond there, we probably want a barrel. And river, it's a pretty decent barrel. You're not going to have too many single spade type hands, which you'd prefer. Like there might be some ace. Like if you have got like ace 4 or something like that, and you lead the flop with the ace of spades, then this might be good. Might be. It will be better. Let's put it at that. But yeah, we're not always going to have those hands. Should be a reasonable bluff. I don't really fold because my diamonds are quite low. I don't think I fold too many. Like 7-8 I fold, but like 7-8 is not always calling there, I think. I'm not sure. When this guy goes this sizing, which I think is probably not a great sizing from under the gun in this format, but to be honest, I'm not good enough at this format to critique anyone, so. We're going to ISO. I'm not sure, like, do we go to 6? If 6 feels like reasonable. I'm going to take my time there because I don't want to make it too obvious. I think people will ISO too wide generally. I could bet here, I could check. I think either way is fine. Relatively straightforward call on the turn here. Shit is the runouts. If he goes and bets large, it's going to be awkward. Like, to be fair, he limp called, so like there's going to be some pocket pairs. I think I just check back because I don't think there's value in betting, because probably this guy is not going to value bet a set here. Even though he could probably for block sizing. Okay. So we're waiting 30 big blinds back. Only 170 more to go. Let's see if we can get, oh wait, let me get a seat here. Okay, nice. Got a 5-10 seat now as well. That's good. So we get the 5-10 table so everyone can see. I'll probably at least have to study pre-flop ranges quite a bit. Oh. That's good. So I hope this guy calls here. That would be great. We're going to call forward. I have no fucking clue which size I should go to here. So that should be fun. On the other hand, we've got a situation as well. I'm just going to go like 37 or something like that. Seems, but this might be too large out of position here. But like there's so much dead money in. I'm not sure what other sizing I would want to go to. Probably want to go like more than 3x. Hope he shows. I think we're just going to range bet now. Actually, I'm going to check. I could call, I could shove. I think we're just going to raise or win. We got a relatively quick call. That's good news. We can't complain there. So far so good, at least. That's good. This is interesting. I think I played it fine. I rolled quite high with check raise, so I could check. You can basically do anything with aces there. The benefit of having aces in your checking line is that it lowers the chance of him having ace queen, ace king, which is going to check back quite often. We're going to like, yeah, I'm not sure if we go and check shove or if we just check raise normal size here. Intuitively, we get the cold call quite wide. I'm just going to cold call this because this feels like it should be cold calling with this amount of money in. It's kind of cool format because there's just like a lot of manual like thinking that you gotta do. Like it's barely solved. Let's put it. A lot of spots are going to be barely solved because like multi-way, 200 big blinds deep, antes involved, so it makes it a lot more complex. Which it's almost like the difference between like calculating something and making a painting, where here you just gotta go with relatively broad strokes and we are going to have to mix here, I think. I think I'm going to go block bet, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go block bet and then yeah, we got a couple tables going here. Let me see, so we call there. I think I'm just going to, do we 3-bet always or do we just cold call sometimes? Who knows? Super cool format. Hey Hildred, hope you're doing alright. Same thing for you, Histro, Rista. I'm not sure if we should be 3-betting always here. Okay, we'll take it. Do we just check here? Like we are relatively undeep. I'm just going to, oh wait, you can see that. I'm going to check here behind and hope this guy puts some money in. I think we're getting a fold quite often there, but what can we do? Like he's playing quite a bit of hands over small sample, obviously, but okay. Going to bet this on the turn pure for 3/4. 3/4 is pretty tough to defend against. He will need to defend some 8x if we go 3/4 there. Okay. I already thought like I need to study this. Another tab was on the early position spot and I was like, do I fucking open this? I have no idea. Do I open ace-4 suited under the gun? Probably if you're not sure and you're under the gun, then folding is quite okay. Constructing a limping range is probably best from under the gun, but also seems to be quite tough to play if you haven't studied it. So let me see if I can find some more 2-5 tables. Same thing with this. Do I open this? What is it? 9-handed? It doesn't feel like it, but someone can definitely correct me if I'm wrong there. I hear the recreational leaves, I guess. So going in like without any studies, probably not the GTO move, but I felt like trying it out. Like I've been trying out playing some 5-10 yesterday. It's hard to get tables going, so let's try this instead. This is going to be a call. It's a very good price. The problem is that on the 4 we are turning some third nuts type hands. Whereas there will be a reasonable amount of combos of... wait, let me see. So this is... Do we lead here? Maybe not on 3. Well, we're going to have some 3x for sure. I'm just going to bet. I don't know. I expect there to be a lot of leading and a lot of random spots like this where we are going to have a ton of 3x given how the action went. Like, I don't know. I have no fucking clue if there's going to be leading at bot sizing and that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some leading here. Because we were in the big blind, he opened small, so we're going to have a ton of random 3x there. We're going to have all the suited 3s, I think, and then some off-suited 3s even. Like, I don't know, king 3 might be defending pre-flop. So we would need a lead there. I'm like 99% sure, but I don't know because I haven't studied this. I'm just going to fold, I think. I would limp, but I think this is too weak to limp even. I'm not going to limp just the bottom of a range there from the small blind, but would basically try to construct a limping range there. I'm going to go 2.5x. I feel like people might fold too much first. I think you should actually go larger here with the antes, but we'll see what happens. That's a good board. I'm just going to go ahead and bet one big blind, so very small. Wish my opponent good luck. This is 4. You guys can see that, okay. I already have like a lot of fun now, so it's in part because I'm just like really bad at this game, and there's a lot of spots where I gotta do it based on intuition. Okay, we're going to have to... Let's construct a limping range here and go for some limp re-raises. This will make it into a limp re-raising range sometimes. Into a limp calling range sometimes. Like, it's going to be super dynamic though, because if we think about it, right? Like, if this guy ISOs, it's going to be vastly different than this guy ISOs. Cool. I don't think we ever fold here. The question is, like, how often do we 4-bet? Let's roll 40% 4-bets or something like that. Yeah, I got like 4 tables going. I'm going to leave this 5-10 table because I'm not going to get into the leaderboard most likely. think we just check. Got a couple of tables going here. We just bluff there, we call there, okay. I don't think I'm going to be bluffing here. Man, I'm having a blast already. Like, this is so much fun. There's so many of these spots already where I'm like, part of it is I haven't studied, right? So I don't want to continuously repeat myself, but part of it is just like me not being aware of what I should be doing in certain spots. And so I have to figure it out on the spot, and I probably are going to make a ton of mistakes. I feel like this is a call with like these odds that I'm getting. Here on the 5-10 table, we're playing a 3-way pot where this guy opened, I called, he called. We have a very straightforward call. I think we gotta check sometimes, bet sometimes. If we're going to bet, we're probably going to go pretty large, and this is the bottom of my betting range, I would guess. Okay, we just fold here. Jesus Christ. We could go larger even here, I think. I'm going to check this time. I think I don't want to bet more than 40% there. We call here. That's multi-way. I missed that. I missed the fact that this guy was still in. I think we just have a call here. It's a bit gross. He could have king 10, king jack himself. Apparently you can have this, which is fine. I guess. So much fun. Ace jack close. Just going to limp it, I think. Construct a limping range, but not entirely sure. Potential recreational. I think otherwise I would be inclined to fold here. That's probably close, but there's recreational, I'm calling. Presumed recreational, that is. I'm going to call because I'm in position here. It's close, but it's close. I'd rather call. Okay, this is not close. Now the screen is black for a second. I want to close some stuff and then I want to accidentally just share something that I'm not supposed to share or whatever. Got so many tabs open. Like there's nothing going on right now, so you're not missing anything. Okay, here we've got a hand. No fucking clue about the sizing. Probably going to need to bet this sometimes, check sometimes. I'm just going to mix it like we rolled low, so then this is probably going to be a fine check. Turn, I think this is going to be a high frequency check because this would be pretty much in the middle of my range. Also have the benefit of unblocking some ace highs. So blocking some ace highs that is going to check, so he is more likely to have something like queen 8 that bluffs the river. I'm just going to check it down, I think. King 4, yeah. It's funny because it's probably a relatively standard spot here. But I'm not entirely sure about my ranges, so that makes it relatively tough to determine, do I range bet this texture? Bet it at a high frequency? Tough to say. Almost everyone at the ante tables has over 200 big blinds. Is that buy-in limited to 100? It's limited to 200 big blinds. So you're playing deeper, larger average pot size. Apparently it's a lot more fun as well, but oh, he meant on the downside. Yeah, like downside, I don't, the lower side, I'm not sure. 40 big blinds apparently. I'm going to do something sort of silly here. I'm guessing that this is the recreational, so like re-isoing him is going to be pretty good. If this is a regular, then this is a punt. Okay. That's an interesting sizing. I feel like he should be going a lot bigger, intuitively. So I think I can call here, but I don't know. We'll see. When he picks this sizing, I don't know. You get into some very weird situations. Now, luckily or unluckily, kind of depending on how you look at it, we have a relatively easy decision. This is just going to be a fold, I think. Like this is something I would have to solve, but I think this deep, we get to call this versus the 4-bet. It might be a bit iffy. Maybe we just call like the 8-7, 8-6, 7-5 type hands, but yeah. Cool spot. We were at a pretty cool spot by Luke, who ended up going limp, and then big blind Luke is raising to 12 big blinds, which is a bit larger than I would expect. It's like the optimal sizing. I think I'm going to be pretty good at understanding, like, I need to study it, like, let's be clear. I'm not sure if I'm going to be winning right now, but I think if I study pre-flop substantially, then I think I'm going to be pretty good at understanding what kind of mistakes people would make in these games. This seems like a call. Like I'm guessing we got a call pretty wide here from the small blind, given the antes and the fact that he goes relatively small. We probably are not going to have much of leading range here, although we might have some, but probably not much. Like, yeah, probably not much because of the queen. I'm going to roll here, sometimes call, sometimes raise. If I'm going to raise, I'm going to go pretty large, I think. I rolled quite high there, that's why I'm betting large, but I'm raising, not raising large, but I'm raising. I don't think that is going to be a very high frequency raise, but I think I want to raise it sometimes. 15% of the time seems reasonable. I'm going to call because the big blind is quite likely recreational. I'm like 99% sure. So I'm going to go wider here. This is pretty wide, I guess, versus a 4x open. But if you hit it, I think one of the risks, though, is like we're 200 big blinds deep, is that we are going to be in a situation. Let's say I bet here, and Patrick, second year, raises large here. We're already not like super thrilled about the situation. I'm just going to go with one sizing here. If I was playing heads up with the fish, or recreational, I should say, although he's named fish, so I guess. But if I was playing heads up with the recreational, I would be inclined to go larger. I think we just bet pure, at least for this frequency, and just go. At the Melbourne casino, they used to allow 200 big blinds in a 2-5 game, but now it's 100 big blind max. That's because the recreationals are losing at a higher rate, the deeper the stacks are. You're better off playing in a very deep stacked 2-5 game than you would be in a 100 big blind deep, like 10-20 game or something like that. You got a lead here. He is going to have some 5x, probably more than I would. We have a pretty straightforward raise though. I'm wondering if we just shove and let him decide. This is too large. One bit the wrong sizing. This is kind of shitty, but okay. I think we did this. You either go smaller or all in, I think, because I don't know. Not super thrilled about this. Intuitively, that's a mistake. Just want to make sure my timing is okay, so if someone pays attention here, I'm not automatically raising aces within a nanosecond, but then have to think about king 9 offsuit or something like that. That's so Beluga is going to squeeze there, was what I wanted to say. I think we have a pretty straightforward check here. I'm just going to check my entire range, I think, and take it from there. The benefit is that he's probably going to be relatively honest on the turn. So, yeah, I expect to have the best hand the majority of the times. This is going to be relatively thin though, but... Got a call, can I check back? Oh wow. We got lucky there. He quickly called as well. I would have guessed that he would have gone bigger with something like his hand. I'm going to call sometimes here and then 3-bet the majority of the times. I'm going to go in 3-bet now because I rolled quite high. I think if I'm going to have a cold calling range there, I need to have that in there. Okay, just checking his nicknames here, but yeah, he had a few. Pull there, put that there. I think we have a pretty clear check here. Well, we might want to bet something, but I guess even in like, well, like he probably needs to call something like, oh, I don't know, I fucking don't know. The ranges are super tight, like there's not an awful lot of ace-jack in there, I think, already. This is gross. Trying to think if I want to shove here and change it into a bluff or just call. Either option seems kind of bad. He might have ace-king himself though. I'm just going to call it off, I think. It's really hard for him to be bluffing though. Ace-deuce, wow, okay. Interesting spot. I'm guessing I'm indifferent on the river there. Or close to it. I don't think he's supposed to be betting ace-jack. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong though, I'm not sure. I'm guessing we got to call an awful lot here versus this. Like we're getting 6.6 to 1. This seems to be reasonable to call. If we call stuff like this, we're probably going to have a leading range here, so I'm just going to lead. And we're going to have 5-7 offsuit, 5 deuce suited, 6-4 offsuit. Just a very, very wide range there, I think. So currently playing at 5 tables. Okay. Added the link to our free Discord server in the description section in this stream. So if you want to join that, feel free to head on over there and click the link. There's an Ask Me Anything section in there where I'll try to answer any question that you have. Okay. we're going to click call here. So okay. We'll go ahead. I think we're just going to bet here. I would be. What I'm going to check raise like 9-8, maybe like the higher kickers. But yeah, basically, people ask a question, I'm going to answer as well as I can. And we've got a 3/4 bet here. Like, there's not an awful lot of flushes in this range. There's going to be some, but not an awful lot. That might. I'm not good enough to understand if that limp call or if that limp is going to be a good thing in these games or not. Maybe. I'm going to play a check here. Here I need to check back sometimes, but bet most of the times. I'm just going to roll and like bet 70% of the times, check 30% of the times. Thanks, barcode man. I'm not sure if these games are running daily, but if they are, like, they're running daily, but if they're running like when I'm playing, when I'm streaming. My idea is to be streaming from, like I said, 12 to 5 most days. Maybe a little bit later, like 1 to 5 or something like that, and just stream when there's tables running and have some fun while I do. And then work on CFP stuff in the morning. Potentially do some private coaching in between. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Thanks for the sub. Which reminds me, if you haven't subbed to the channel yet, feel free to do so. It would help me out a lot. Also, it's kind of motivating to see, okay, people are interested in this and you're not just like doing it for the 30 hardcore guys that are here while playing poker. Okay. I will have to study this a bit. Like the tough thing is finding the time to study this sufficiently. That will be the tough time, I think. Because we're working on a ton of different things in the CFP right now. And I need a lot of time for that. And then we've got coachings in the CFP and group coachings and whatnot. Which day is it? Is it... Oh yeah, okay. I was thinking I reminded myself that I needed to have group coaching tomorrow. So it wasn't today, but it was tomorrow. We're also getting pretty close to 5k subs, which is pretty nice. Here we are at 4.96. We need 40 more. Realize now you guys can't hear the music now, right? Can you? There's no music for you guys, I think. Wait, let me... Afraid I'm going to get a lot of feedback now on the music, but I'm going to do it like this. Tempted to call here. We're getting a pretty decent price. Although I think this is more of a passive potential recreational. We will have some leads here. I think we're gonna have plenty of leads, to be honest. People don't believe me at all. I'm not on this tab, on another tab. I'm just going to go on bet 3/4 and hope for the best. I'm going to roll here. Sometimes going to call, sometimes going to 4-bet. I don't think this is pure. I'm going to call now because I rolled 06. Interesting spot. I'm going to want to check raise here occasionally. Probably going to be pretty high frequency check raise, but we rolled quite low, so I'm just going to call. I think I will call the turn as well if he bets 3/4 or something like that. I think I'm going to want to go for a check raise here. Okay. I have to do a lot of reviewing and a lot of studying because I'm not sure if I should be 4-betting pure there. Pretty wide, pretty tight ranges, so who knows? In post flop I rolled quite low as well, otherwise I would be check raising quite a bit. Lots of interesting spots. No clue if I'm playing them correctly here. No music there, okay. Still no music. Right. How did yesterday's stream turn out in the end? Good luck today, I'm loving the streams. Thanks for the kind words. Nice, okay, cool. Yesterday's stream, I think I broke even. I went up a bit. Oh no, wait, let me rephrase. I went down 3k, 2.7 or something like that. And then I got back to even, pretty much. Actually, it was minus 2.5k and then back to plus 1k and then back to even, something like that. I've got to defend quite a bit here. This was kind of close though. I have no idea. Currently playing 6 tables. Oh god, my phone is in my... That's a bit... Okay. Sorry, I wanted to open WhatsApp without being... Oof. Mostly calling, sometimes raising, I would guess. Probably more so at like 7-8 than this though. Might be a bit much, but okay, we'll see. Going to check this. Don't think we want to bet at a meaningful frequency with our hand. Like check raise already is kind of iffy. Pre-flop. Oh well. Here there are a lot of recreationals behind me, which is why I think cold calling 8s is probably reasonable. Getting squeezed less often. Still happens sometimes though. Let's see, so this is 11.8. So this is slightly like 11.8, right? Less. So like if this guy goes all in, then we still call. Okay, he can't go over come over the top. Is that correct? 11.8, yeah, that's correct. Okay. Feels like then a slightly incorrect sizing by Dana. Okay. I think I'm just gonna have to. Okay, wait, it's fucking hell. Damn. Okay. I was gonna say I think I just have to call here, given small sizing and antes. Very easy to overfold there, I think. And here, I think we just fold. Like even the backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight was quite shitty. Like on a 9 and a jack, for instance, I've got a straight, but very poor one. I don't think I get to defend there, but yeah, it seems probably fine. Patrick second year is a Rio coach, yeah, for sure. Very, very, very strong poker player. It's probably going to be king 10 in these positions. You want to have some suited kings, but I think it's going to be king 10 and then fold this, but I could be wrong. Okay, let me see which tables I've got, whether I want to potentially close one or not. Probably this one I might close. I've got position though, not sure. Oh, I just play 7 tables, we'll see. It's full ring, so it's relatively easy to, I think we can leave this table. You can do similar stuff while playing. I try not to. It's a very long time since I've played 9max as well. Like it's forever. I think these games are quite like if you're they're a lot more complex because of the anti-structure and the dynamics with the recreational involved, and the fact that we're deep makes it a very interesting, again, and a lot of things people either haven't solved or they're just mixing it up quite a bit. So like preflop raise size, for instance, I think you would want to go something like 4x, but a lot of players go like 2x here. You're just calling range basically versus 2x. Like if I face a 2x there, but the antis, I'm just going to call my entire range out of position there. If you're calling your entire range out of position, that opens the door for leading a ton of lower boards. Maybe even some that are not naturally led on in some other situations. So the game tree is a lot wider. And because it's wider, in some cases it's also deeper, if that makes sense. And also you're getting into situations where it's basically impossible to solve, because if you're looking at the multi-way sim, then you can look at what Equilibrium kind of looks like, but if you change one of the strategies for either player slightly, it will have a massive impact. What is better, 6max or 9max? It depends. Like the 9max tables on stars generate higher win rates. I think the same thing on ignition. So, but like the hands per hour are lower. Here on GG, the rake is extremely high for these tables because you're just playing a pretty large average pot size, which is reflected in the rake. But you're getting a ton of rake back. And I think the average win rate at like 50 to 100 and now anti games is somewhere along the lines of the average win rate somewhere along the lines of 0 big blinds per 100 hands. But then you're paying 16 to 18 big blinds per 100 hands in rake back. I'm getting 42% of that back. So I'm actually winning quite a bit post rake back. This might seem like it's a call, but I think actually it's a fold. Like the price that we're getting is insane. Like let's see how much he's 3-betting. But he's not very deep, which makes 8-7 like kind of shitty. I prefer to call Queen Jack or something like that. The price we're getting is pretty good though. I guess it's much too small for a 3-bet. We're getting 2.5 to 1, which is insane. But we've got 8 high, and we're not super like. I don't think we're actually we're 72 big blinds deep before the 74. Okay, I'm going to call because we're reasonably deep, but it's pretty close. I don't know how to type without looking at the keyboard. I got like we had a course in high school that I went on, so I can type without looking at the keyboard. One of the most boring things I've done in my life, but apparently it's now a skill that's being noticed. So, yeah. I'm going to limp and then have some re-raises here. I have no idea where I'm going to have limps and where not. I'm guessing like I'm going to cut it in half, basically. And then have some limps from these positions and wider. And then from, let's say, MP onwards I don't, but I'm definitely going to be wrong there. Suddenly we've got like a bunch of different hands. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, this is cool. A check. This is a cool. Wish I could show them all now. We'll keep on showing this hand. Not going to bet pure here. But we'll be betting sometimes, I guess. Betting there. We'll call here. Okay, check. This is such a weird spot to be in. I think we just bet. I think we just bet. Kinda hating life. Yeah, I think we just gotta go for it. We don't really have that many non-spade hands here, I would guess. We gotta have some, but not a lot. He doesn't have a lot of single spade hands in his range, so I think we just gotta go for it. And I hate life if he snaps an ace or queen of spades there, and yeah. I think if we get that run out, we just go for it. Okay. On another hand here, well, like that's another thing about playing 6 tables of action like this, because there's going to be plenty of situations where you just wait for hands because we're not in the hands, but then suddenly you're like multiple hands at once. Here, someone opened, someone called on UTG. I'm calling on cutoff, which I think I need to have some calls there. This guy squeezes on the button. I decide to call here. I'm basically rolling a squeeze here, and I'm rolling a 4-bet here. I roll low 2 times, and it goes check, 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 and I bet on the river. But who knows? Finally we can have a limping range from here. But I'm not sure if I should have a call. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure how wide my calling range should be in these cold calling spots with queens, like the one that I just shown. It's an interesting spot, like I have no idea. Here. Specifically pre-flop, I'm interested in like this one. I think we're going to roll if we call, because we can't have like a flat and then very wide 5-bet range or something like that. But we will have some 5-bets there, because we need to pull hands like this and then 5-bet sometimes. Going to bet with the Ace of Hearts here. Rolling quite high as well. Should probably be fine. It is 15 way there, so we gotta be somewhat careful, but... I'm getting a relatively small raise, which intuitively doesn't make an awful lot of sense. That doesn't mean that I'm like putting a lot of weight in like him not having a strong hand there or whatever, but that, intuitively you want to go larger here. I think I'm just going to bet. Oh, just wait, fuck, we're 15 weight, that's stupid. It is a pretty good turn for me, so I can get away with a bit more maybe, but then I don't want to bet one pair hands here, I think. If it's multi-way, I thought we were heads up here. Didn't take an awful lot of notice there. I think I'm going to check and decide. Probably going to call if he bets. Again, one of the spots where I feel like you gotta call quite wide. And we're going to have some 3-bets here, but not sure if this makes it in there. But again, it's based on intuition, not on actual having studied anything here, so... okay. Going to go overbet and check, like we rolled 99, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. Got an open here, we called c-bet call. We'll go pretty polar there and not bet my hand, so we're just going to check down and lose quite often still, but sometimes win. Got a bunch of limping spots here. I'm not automatically betting, but we rolled quite high. Limp calling here occasionally, I would guess, but not sure. Just going to go large here and 4-bet, but I have no idea. We just go pure. It feels like pure rather than having some calls, but could be wrong. Here we're getting a second barrel and a sing raised pot, which we're going to call. I could potentially raise sometimes, but I'm just going to call, I think, with my hand. Did he overbet the turn? Don't think he did, but... No, okay, he went large, okay. I was thinking about 3-betting pre-flop, but figured I would go more polar here, but might as well just go wide and linear. Like if this is what they are supposed to open, I'm not sure, but if this is what they're supposed to open, then we should be 3-betting quite wide and linear there. Just got an email from my accountant in Andorra, giving me some advice on how to structure things for like the income that I had last year in the company. And the advice that he gives is, let's reclassify 40k euros as your salary rather than dividends, because that would reduce the corporate tax. And you would only pay 5% of income tax on that 40k. That's insane. Insane. God, I miss Andorra. Will you explain your barrel logic when spots come up? Let me. To the guy that said you can do multiple things at once because it's slow pace, you're right. I might go and go out for a few drinks a bit later. We will see. I was going to have a limping range from these positions and then open from this. Okay, so we go and open here. I just came up with that idea. That might be a bad idea, but we'll see. I can go and bet here. I can check. Either way is fine. I would need to check all my strong hands here reasonably often. I could potentially check close to range here. 7 is not at all a bad card. Like Sir Paul is going to have a few. Luke is going to have some as well because he's going to have a relatively wide cold calling range, I think. Especially with these guys behind, he might. So I'm actually going to check. It's actually not a great card for me. Because he's not, like if you're in 6 max here, the 7 is pretty good. Because he's going to have a lot of pocket pairs. Getting a pot size bet, I think we have a very clear call here. It's kind of gross though, I'm not sure how many. It's first hand again. It could have been worse. It could have been better, but it could have been worse. Do we call here? Do we call Jack 6 offsuit here? When getting 6.5, probably. I'm not sure, but probably. But when we get min, we probably just don't fold. I might be playing too tight in a lot of spots. Like intuitively, like from looking at my VPIP at a bunch of spots, I think I'm playing too tight, especially from early position, but I prefer playing tighter from earlier position and then a bit wider from later position, but I'm not sure. I'm squeezing sometimes. Let's go with 19 big blinds. Squeezing sometimes, calling sometimes. I think both are fine. Here we kind of randomly river flush. I put a peel out to 5. I was like, wow, we did we had like a side jackpot somewhere? Because that amount corresponds with like a 2-5 jackpot. Here we're going to shove. We just go 150%. It's going to go not all in, which is kind of a weird sizing, but I want him to call a queen always, and I think if I go 10x roughly, then he will. Maybe it's a bit too large, even like going like 32. Here we're going to call because this guy's recreational. It's pretty close, but with antes should be fine. Oh wow, I made a mistake on some other table. If I get a moment where I don't have a hand, I gotta run. Because there's like iced tea on the stairs downstairs. So I think I'm folding here versus 3/4. This is a board that crushes his range. 3/4 is a large sizing, and people are generally too honest when they go with large sizes. So I think I'm just folding there. Okay, I'm going to grab something to drink. I'm going to be back in a minute. This guy going to be losing some here. I'm trying to check on my tables. 2 recreations on another table, one of them is a nit, most likely. This is probably fine. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, cool. I'm going to be playing for another hour, a bit longer, I think. I think I'm going to make it into this leaderboard. I feel like that should be doable. I have no idea though. 2-5. Let's see, what was it last week? 360 points. Is that enough to make it in? Yeah, more than enough. Going to 3-bet here. Fold versus 4 bets. Should go a bit bigger, probably. Might not be a pure 3-bet either. Probably a fold with ace queen. Although we might need to call it. Ace Queen is close. Ace Queen is probably close and we rolled low, so I think it's fine. But Ace King probably need to call. Ace Queen with backdoors need to call. Could be worse. Relatively straightforward call. One to think about, do we have any turns where we're going to lead on? I don't think too many, to be honest. Maybe on a jack. But this, for instance, I don't think so. Although we're probably going to have... Do we have 8 and 9? Sorry, 9, 10? Pocket 8s we would have. So that would be okay. I'm going to block bet. That's a good hand. This is rough. Dude wins one of the ace king versus aces hands. Here we ended up cold calling pre-flop versus small raise. Not a bet here. Like this is maybe we block bet. This might be a bit large, but should be okay. There's a reason why it's large. Oh. Again, let's see how we're doing. Like, I have no fucking clue at this point whether we're up or down. I'm guessing break even-ish. But I'm. It's been a while since I've been this excited about something poker related. I guess like the coding thing is also pretty cool, like vibe coding and the stuff that we could do there. But actually playing poker, this has been a lot of fun because there were like an infinite amount of spots where I have no fucking clue what I needed to do. I'm still going to be streaming for another hour or so, maybe a little bit less. But yeah. So wait, can we? This is kind of what we're looking at right now. So I'm break even, not having paid the rake, which definitely will need to be paid. And the rake is quite high here. I think it's like 16 big blinds per 100 hands. So that's almost $500 here. So I'm actually down a little bit without rake back. Close, probably a fold. Like, if we wanted to call, we'd prefer to call hands like 6-5 over this. Would be a nuanced thing, I think, but like, we want him to have 9-10, Jack-9. I think it's going to be. So like, I'm not saying that there will be a massive difference. What I'm saying is I'm not entirely sure where I should draw the line here. So I'm deciding to draw it at like 6-5 as a low frequency call rather than 9-6. One of the great things about being a professional poker player is the fact that someone can text you. Like the sun is out for the first time in a long time here in the Netherlands. So we got a text, and you want to have a few drinks. At like a local bar where you can sit outside. And normally I have to be like, well, I gotta wake up at like 6:30 tomorrow morning or something like that. But now, let's do it. I don't need to be anywhere tomorrow morning. I'm not going to go full-blown drunk, but yeah, it's kind of nice that like the last couple of days I woke up. Today I woke up at like 8:15 because my kids wouldn't wake up earlier. Usually they wake, and we don't set an alarm, they wake us up, and usually it's like somewhere between 6:30 and 7. But the last few days it's been later and later, so they've been sleeping in, and for that reason I've been sleeping in, so that's pretty great. Now, for the last couple of days, I've had quite a few talks with guys that were like, maybe you should go play some more live and just go on a live trip per month, or what if you were to be playing on this site where the games are going to be really good and you could make a lot of money. I'm happy making not a lot of money here, or like, I guess like not a lot in terms of what I could be making, but still a lot of money for just sitting at home playing a video game, right? Like that's basically what we're doing here. Let me actually see. I'm going to download the hands real quick. See what kind of VPIP I'm playing. I think I'm playing relatively tight, maybe tighter than I should. I should definitely study some preflop ranges a bit more. I think we do a lot of calling in spots like this intuitively because I don't know about to draw a line, but it seems like more than a fine call. Hard to fold a bunch of suited hands there. Okay. Wonder if that's a call still. I'm not sure, but like, not saying it isn't, but I wonder. Multi-way, like I should, like I'm going to still have some check raises, albeit pretty low frequency when someone overbets there. But I'm going to have pocket fives, pocket fours, 5-4, ace-5, ace-4, ace-10. I will still all have on the turn, so 10-5 suited I might have. I'm going to have 10-4 suited I might have. Some flush draws. I'm going to crack open a window, it's pretty warm. Bit too large, bit too wide, but I was timing down. This is too large though. Got a quick call. Not sure what it means, but we'll see. Definitely range betting here. Show fuck. Wanted to show 9 there. No, wait, sorry. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but I definitely can. Okay. Did I fold it? Am I sitting out? Okay. Relatively straightforward call, I think. And we're going to take a look here. This should be fun. 15 way, like I don't think, I'm not even sure what I should be folding, but this is probably way too good to fold. I think like a lot of players would be best off just simplifying to range checks. If you're sitting in any of these positions, then simplifying to range check seems pretty decent. I think we cool. This is gross. I think I might already have to fold here. Given we get 2 calls. Like, I'm not worried about this guy at all. But these calls are a bit... I think I'm calling because I've got like a pretty strong jack. But it's gross. I'm going to have some leads here. Not with my hand down, like my hand is just too strong. For some reason I'm not getting an awful lot of credit today. Which is fine because I seem to have it most of the times, but still. Interesting spot. I don't think I can value bet here. Although, like, if it was just versus this guy, I would definitely be able to value bet. I think I'm going to. I think I'm still going to because this guy's involved and I should be able to do it. Nice. Checo, oh no, Checo, lead turn of Bet River. I just loaded these hands in. This is my these are my stats. This must be way too tight. To be fair, that this could still be variance to some extent, but I'm playing like there should be a wide gap here, but this has to be too tight. The stat checker will be pretty useless for this purpose, by the way. But 19.9 is not good. The rake in these anti-games is crazy high. Done a bit of studying in anti-games myself. You're having 3-bet flat button with Queen X and Jack X suited, and then only fold big blind with bottom 5% of range. That's 3-bet flatting button plus small blind with okay. What's a tracker program I use? It is called Hand to Note. I'm 46 bigs in the middle. I'm going to have to shove sometimes. I'm going to do it 50-50, so shove everything over 50. This might be a bit wide, I'm not sure. It should be okay. Sizing, I might have to have a 4-bet range here, normal 4-bet range. Okay, let's do it twice. Could be worse. That could be worse. I think it's fine, but not entirely sure. Here we were going to have a limping range till... Like you can do whatever, right? Like I can limp here. Even if it's not a thing in Equilibrium, as long as I play it well, it's probably going to be fine. Name this pop-up to Hand to Note. That's a custom build pop-up. So it's not something that's publicly available. Here we're kind of in an interesting spot where look, someone opened, I 3-bet, look 4-bet, I called. Got a check. I was gonna say, I'm not sure, like betting versus king seems not great there. I don't know what I should be value betting, but this is a very good board. I'm just going to go bet 50 with range, something like that. I'm getting check raised. There's not going to be an awful lot of 3x that is opening, I think. It's going to be pocket 8s. Maybe some ace 3 suited. A lot of queens. I'm going to call, like very straightforward call so far. On the flop, having the king of diamonds is pretty good. Now, if he bets a turn, I would prefer not to have it in my hand, so he can have it. It's a bit gross of a spot up until now. I was gonna say I'll take a king there. I don't know who this is. I have no idea. Let's see how many tables he's playing. How many tables is he playing? This is a bit of a gross spot. I don't really know. It feels like pocket 8s pretty much always, but I'm not sure who this is. Let me see, so what's his name? Andre. Playing a bunch of tables. I think we just gotta call up and hate life a little bit. But yeah. Feels like pocket 8s pretty much always, but not sure if I can fold there. Well, you can fold, but you can always fold, but not sure if it makes sense to fold there. Oh well. Like, we didn't beat value at the river, that's kind of gross. I think, right? Like ace queen of diamonds or something like that, maybe. Ace queen of diamonds we might beat, but very, very thin. He's not going to check raise pocket jacks and then blast off like this, so like it's pocket 8s, some ace 3. It's not an awful lot else, right? There's going to be some flush draws. On the river we need to be correct ball in 3 times. A little bit less actually, like 30% of the times. You're going to lose the majority of the times. Is it going to be won in 3 times? Like basically, are we good 31% there, which is roughly what we need to be? Are we going to be good there 26% of the times, because he always has pocket 8s, or like the majority of the times is pocket 8s? Or are we going to be good there more? Like it's tough. I'm not sure. It would depend a bit on what kind of player this is, but I am not sure. I don't know him well enough. Not an awful lot we can do there, I think. Going to mix here. Let's say we're betting this. We'll just roll. I don't know, I'm just going to check here. You can see the pocket 8's hand now in the replay. Gross spot to be in. Going to have to mix here, rolled 11. Or don't have to mix, but I prefer mixing. In my 42% figure, it's just rake. That's basically everything. The rake back in the Netherlands is quite low. Rolled quite high here, so I'm just going to bet. Bit annoyed by that one hand, but yeah. Like there's going to be pocket queens as well, I guess. Like there's pocket queens, pocket 8s. Ace 3 suited perhaps, but probably isn't included in his range. Playing 4 tables right now. think I might play this again tomorrow, but I will probably have to study preflop at least a little bit because I've got no clue. Decided to call here with, again, the antes and this kind of big blind. Okay. We are down a little bit today, I think. Are we down a little bit? Probably with that like big pot that we just lost. Let's see. We got such a quick call. Doesn't he have to think? I am on the big blind here. I don't want to range bet most likely, although here maybe we can. I think we can. I'm probably going to be going to linear as well, so it should be fine. Probably going to 3-bet again. I'm tempted to 4-bet here. Might be a bit wide though. We'll see. Gotta win our money back somehow, right? Getting a call, which is interesting. Okay, I'm going to mix here with my range. B40 in check. I think ace-10 probably bets reasonably often. Are we betting more than 60% though? Going to check raise here sometimes, call sometimes. Slight regret that I 4-bet now. I have a pretty decent bluff catcher though. if I think about it, like pocket 7s is probably not in there in his range, right? Pocket 9s is not. I block aces, I block pocket 10s. Kings is probably going to shove, queens might shove, but we'll call sometimes, I guess. Highly prefer check here though. Such a funny spot. I think I went too wide there with my 4 bets. I might have been going a bit too far. Who knows? We're actually up now. Must have looked incorrectly because I probably added like hands from yesterday, but the last time I did this, but okay. We're up, not including rake, so we're down. But yeah, like we're break even probably. Dum dum dum. I had a lot of fun though. Like that's the most important thing. I think I'm up a little bit, including rakeback, most likely. But I had a lot of fun, and that's the most important thing. And then I'm going to go for a few drinks. Probably going to study this a little bit tomorrow, and then keep on playing it over the next few weeks and streaming it. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow and the day after as well. Happened there? Oh. Yeah, so I won't be opening new tables. I'm playing 4 tables right now, so we'll probably be playing 1 more orbit on some tables. Games seem pretty beatable, but I would probably... I need to study this. Like I'm quite likely playing a bit too tight, especially from earlier positions, but I could also see from later positions where I'm just out of folding some hands that need to be opened, given the antes. I also might have just been running bet. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm playing relatively low VPIP here. Like and this is probably too low of a VPIP in these games. So I'm constructing limping ranges without having studied it too much. See what happens here. Good. Like, when the board is like this, I always like to look to see, heck, maybe we got an ace king versus ace queen situation, then we are let's just open. Then we've got like a jackpot option. So even though we lost like that pretty big pot, we're still up, which is good. Like it doesn't make any sense to look at it that way, but if it's positive, I like to do it. If it's negative, I'm generally not doing it. So I'm basically, I want to create my own narrative, and being up despite losing a 100 big blinds pot with 200 big blinds deep pot with overpair versus set is pretty good. Kind of sad that we're not deeper here. Definitely a nice spot, SMKN4A Roach. Hope I said that well. Like here, for instance, this feels like a call intuitively, but I'm not sure. Like he's going to have a relatively tight range, but the antes are just worth so much that I don't think we fold this. Very straightforward call here. I don't have any other option. I want to think about it so that it seems like I might have another option. Maybe I should be check raising here. Maybe I should be check calling. Maybe I should be check folding. At the very least, I don't want to give too much information about my hand. I was going to say I expect my opponent to go overbet and check reasonably often here. I think I am going to have a call. That's a gross river. Bunch of his hands that overbet the turn get there now. And we are going to have a pure fold for his bet. In fact, I don't think he's going to be checking back a lot of hands that beat us now. That's the main issue, not necessarily that I don't think I have the best hand, but problem with stuff like this is that I expect Luke to find Jack 9, Queen 9, pocket 3s, pocket deuces, pocket 6s, pocket 7s type hands here reasonably often. I'm not sure if that makes this a call. Probably still a fold. But I wouldn't be surprised if Luke is over bluffing there, right? Like seems like a spot where it's relatively tough to over bluff, which means that I'm expecting Luke, someone as good as Luke, to recognize that I might overfold because it is relatively tough finding the bluffs there. But also he just has a lot of nutted hands, so it's tough, right? Like he needs to find some... he needs to find some value hands, or a lot of value hands here. I think, like if we have King Jack, King Queen, we're quite likely indifferent and we could just elect a call. This might be a punt call, which I'm also not super comfortable with doing versus someone as good as Luke. So I think I'm just calling King Jack, King Queen. Yeah. A tough spot to be in. Let's leave big blind all tables. Where do you study this format? So I think there's going to be some ranges in GTO Wizard. So I will study those. That's like probably like preflop is going to be the first one. To try to gain like a good understanding of what the hands are that I should be raising from all RFI positions. And I want to gain an understanding of what I should be cold calling, what that range looks like, what I should be defending versus the big blind, on the big blind versus an RFI. And if I do that, I will have like a better understanding of the preflop ranges. And then I want to, from there on, I'm probably going to stress test some of the ideas that I've got. So for instance, I don't think it was on screen because I had another hand, but I was in a spot where the board was triple Broadway. I had like 4 or 5, but I thought I might be able to go 3/4 pot range bet because it was early position versus big blind or early position versus small blind. I can't remember, but like, but I felt like that would be a thing. I have no fucking clue though. So like I just did it, and I think I got a fold, and you guys didn't see it, but. There's a lot of, and then I made, like in the beginning of the stream, I made a lot of leads. I'm not sure if those are going to be good. So probably what I'm going to be doing is like studying this tomorrow morning. I've got like a group call, so I'm probably just going to study this for a couple hours in the group call for the CFP. And just basically review every pot that I played where I V-pipped over 3 big blinds or something like that and take it from there. And then study for 3 hours or something like that and play again. Play again later in the afternoon. So I don't know, playing from like 12 or 1. Probably got to open a lot wider than I have been. That I'm pretty certain about. Because probably there's going to be less 3-betting as well, because people are going to be cold calling more in a lot of situations. Hi Thomas, nice to see you here. how do you like them so far? I've been very, very positive about them. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of spots where I'm completely clueless because I have no idea about what my range should look like pre-flop, and then you're going to be guessing post-flop. Also, I'm definitely playing too tight, and I think there's a bunch of other things that I'm not doing well. I might be too passive in spots like this, for instance. I don't know. Although this is probably a fine check fold. But it's a very cool game because the game is much more complex, so there's just going to be guessing. I can already tell that there's going to be spots, even with like multi-way solvers and pre-flop solvers, you're just going to be guessing. So yeah, like especially in the beginning of the stream, I had like a bunch of spots where I led, and I think those leads are fine. Like especially right at the beginning. Wait, let me show you a hand. I'm pretty sure about turn and river for that hand. Sorry, flop and turn, but not on the river. But immediately when I had that hand, when I played that hand, I was like, okay, this is going to be a fun game. Got a hand here. I think I'm just going to bet this size. Like, I don't think people raise a jack often enough, which is a bit annoying. Let's see, timeline. Lost a huge pot with Q high. Is this the one? Yeah, it is a fun one. Okay, bear with me. I'm trying to load it here. Am I just able to see? Wait, why am I not able to see? Okay. Accidentally just downloaded the table, which is kind of... Why would I just want to download the table? But okay, whatever. Here we are. So how do I get all in by the river here? Bet Nick raises small. This guy calls on the button. I call on the big blind. I lead here because I think I'm going to have 3-4 offsuit. I'm going to have it, like, but I should have it, I don't know. But if I got 3-4 offsuit, I'm going to have 5-2 suited, 6-2 suited, 6-5 offsuit. Probably not going to have 5-2s offsuit, but who knows. So I'm going to have like a ton of very strong hands there. And then on the turn, I think I just have a high frequency bet. I just go with pot. And then on the river here, I should probably go and size down a bit. But I figured if I go in, I'm not making a flush indifferent, but still some non-flush hands. I'm not sure about that. Maybe I make some lower flush indifferent and this is moronic. But felt like a spot where I would be making something like pocket sixes, pocket fives, pocket deuces indifferent, and it's really hard to call here because what bluffs am I going to have? It's going to go to lead, 3/4 pot, and then shove. Apparently I have some, but yeah, I played this hand and I was like kind of frustrated by it because I bluff into a flusher. I later thought I'm not going to have too many one spade hands, and the spades I'm going to have are not going to be super relevant here. But probably like equilibrium ones is just like bet pot or 3/4 on the river or something like that. Which is probably a bit more reasonable. But anyway, like I played this and then I realized, okay, I'm going to, like, you're going to end up in the jungle quite a bit where you're going to have, if you're good, you're going to have some bluffs in spots where the pool is very capped, not in this spot. But let's say river is like a 3 of clubs. And it's really hard for the pool to call if I shove. And having bluffs there is going to be probably very powerful. So yeah, it's been an interesting game to say the least. But I need to study that a lot. I will be studying it tomorrow in a group call. Like 9:30 or something like that. 9 AM, I'm not sure which time I put on there. were the kids screaming, so I thought it was maybe one of my kids. Wait, I did leave this. Oh, leave next big blind. Okay, wait. That's stupid. I'm going to have to leave in a second. That's annoying. I've got one table and I need to leave actually now, so... I think I'm just going to call here. Sure. I don't mind in this case, like, if he doubles up or not, I don't really care here. Because I'm going to be leaving anyway. So... Could be worse, could be better, could be worse. Anyway, I've been having a blast. Let me see what my wife says, because I need to leave. I'm going to be leaving soon. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Specifically, the subscribe would help me out a lot. I'm getting really close to 5k subs, so it would be cool if we can get there at some point. We need 30 more subs, so yeah, I don't know. Feels would be I would be proud if I get there. So those two things. If you're interested in getting coaching, then don't forget to check out notchespoker.com. We are working on a ton of very cool stuff on the back end. Some of it we recently released to students, and some of it we haven't yet. But some major upgrades are coming this year to our program, and we already got like a very solid program. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. If you want to get private coaching, I've got like 2 slots left. Like 2 I've got reserved right now by guys that have sort of committed, but one wants to do an intro call, one wants to talk to someone that I've coached. So so I've got 2 more spots. On my website there's like a countdown timer for a lower price, but I'm probably going to cut that short somehow, which kind of feels like bad advertising, but I'm probably going to do that because I don't want to have too many private coaching students. So if you're interested in that, check out freenotches.poker. And then I'll play a little bit more, but I'll be wrapping up somewhat soon. About this game, I think, I was just thinking about it, I think intuitively there's going to be a lot of ways you can solve it without there being a massive imbalance, if that makes sense. So I think you could probably get away with going with 4x under the gun. I think you can probably go with a limping range. I think you can probably go with 2x under the gun. But the strategies post-flop are going to be pretty different in a lot of instances. So that when there's like a lot of room like that, that also makes it more interesting to play, because you can try out different things that might not necessarily be like the absolute highest EV in terms of what the solver would recommend, but they might be higher EV versus the pool, if that makes sense. Trying to like come up with a reasonable comparison for like 6 max games, but like imagine you have a board where you could theoretically range bet on, but you could also go overbet and check, and you think people will be making more mistakes when you overbet and check, both when you overbet and both when you check, then going with that strategy might be more interesting. It will definitely be more interesting, but if you've studied it, then you're going to quite likely have a much higher ceiling. Even though range betting would be the same EV, or even though B50 or B75 would be slightly higher EV. So yeah, I don't know, but those are like my first initial thoughts that I had. Right, let's look at the graph towards the end, and let's just pretend for a second that GG doesn't take any rake and this is the actual graph. So we feel a little bit better. We're not down, we're not up, I think, but like, if we do it like that, then we might feel slightly better. This is from yesterday, EV graph, okay. Yeah. We're definitely going to feel slightly better if we do this. So we're just going to pretend we are up $130. We are not. No, can't. We're down a little bit because this doesn't include rake, which still I think is like, I don't know. And I don't know why you would do it like that, but apparently, people would. Okay, I'm going to wrap up here. Actually, what I'm going to do, close GG here, close GG. Sure, close. Okay, GG is closed. I've got no tables running. Just want to be clear. Okay. I'm going to check like some pre-flop ranges to see. Pre-flop only. 8 max, 9 max. Is it this one? Shreddle plus anti. 9 max. 9 max anti. Is this the one? Okay, I folded I folded way too tight here. Okay, this is actually the same opening range, so wait, let me just make sure that you guys can see it as well. One of them is watching you. I don't know what you're referring to. One of them is watching you. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Let me see. Can you guys see this? No. We're going to make it a bit smaller. Okay. So, and this is 2x. But like, is this with an anti? So I need to make it a bit bigger still. If I do it like this, okay. I'm just curious already, like, is this with an anti? What kind of anti is this? This is with anti. More big blinds. Oh, this is button. Okay, this is big blinds. Okay, yeah, we defend everything. Okay, fuck off. Yeah, okay. I might have still overfolded versus 2.5x here. Let's see. Versus 2.5x, what do we do on the button? We cold call ace 8 offsuit, 9-5 suited. I've been playing way too tight here. This is such a fun game though. This is going to be a lot of fun. Like, one other thing I'm interested in is I had like one spot where we got into the spot where under the gun opened. I was on the low jack, I think. I had queens. Okay, I mixed. Then button squeezed. Like, I might be slightly off here. Okay, and we need to shove very often. Oh, this is 100 big blinds deep. Okay, this is not even 200 big blinds deep. We need to be 200 big blinds deep. Is this double straddle? Straddle? Oh, anti, okay. Straddle plus anti, that's anti, right? Okay. Okay, here. Okay, and queens is now calling. Okay, 200 big blinds deep. Okay, that's cool. I'll be reviewing a bunch of spots tomorrow. For everyone in the CP. This was a lot of fun. I had a blast. I'm going to get a few beers now, so that I'm slightly hangover when I do the group call tomorrow. That's one of the great things about being a coach. I won't make it too crazy, but like I might have like 2-3 beers, potentially 4. Thank you guys for watching. It was a blast, and